right, hey again, everyone. Craig Galbraith, Editorial Director with Channel Futures, back with another edition of Channel Futures TV. And we have a great chance today to talk with Bruce Locke. Bruce is president of Success Computing Consulting, an IT consulting firm based in the Twin Cities. Bruce, how are you?
I'm doing really well. And for those who don't know the Twin Cities, it's Minneapolis and St. Paul, home of the Timberwolves, who are in the semifinals of the NBA for the first time in 20 years.
There you go. Who would have thought, right? Who would have thought? All right, Bruce. So as long as we're talking regionally, you guys are a big partner of Ingram Micro. I want to make that point right off the bat. But with a sole focus in the Twin Cities, how do you keep the community continually engaged there?
So Craig, first, let me give you a perspective. We've been in business for 31 years. In the last 10 years, we've grown to about 24 million, all organically in the Twin Cities. And in terms of the community, we go way back. We go to the early days of HTG, Heartland Technology Group, the peer group that now is known as Evolve. In fact, at one time, both the owner and our business development vice president facilitated their own groups in HTG. So we were very active in the early days of the MSP becoming the industry it is today. About 2013, before I came in, we left HTG but rejoined a peer group, Ingram Micro's Masterminds. In fact, we joined in 2014. We've been a member ever since. We've been in that same group ever since. And with that experience, I've also had the honor over the past 2+ years. I've been part of the TrustX Alliance Advisory Council. Of course, that's kind of focused on helping Ingram Micro and the channel engage both up and down the supply chain, but also within the channel itself. So I've got to see the insides of how the community itself is trying to elevate itself and help all parts of the channel get better and grow as one. And then inside that channel, we are really engaged with our vendor partners. I won't name them because it applies to any vendor partner, but we engage with their events. We speak at their events. There's a number of my executive team and we will talk on technology and business practice topics within the channel. So we engage directly with our vendors. So we try and bring what we believe is goodness into the channel, and we like to share that. And then at the personal level, over the past couple of years, actually, we've been coaching, I'd say, somewhere between 7 and 10 other MSPs in their initial journey to implement what's known as theory of constraints, which is an alternative business execution model. So we actually get down to the personal level where we find people that are interested in trying to do better with their business, so to speak. Not so much the technology, but being good at leading their businesses. So at every level of the community, we're active, and we have been ever since really this industry has started.
Very cool. Very cool. So I want to talk a little bit about Xvantage, the Ingram Micro platform. We've heard so much about it over the past year, maybe 2 years. How has being an Ingram Micro Xvantage beta user influenced the success that you've had?
Well, there's a couple ways. And first, we were honored. Actually, we begged to be part of the beta program because I was excited to what I anticipated Xvantage to become. So the first benefit to us as a company was not just to see what a good digital platform looks like, but to see firsthand how to bring this capability to market, something at this scale, how to bring it to market in an effective way. And that's a really big deal for us because several years ago, we started to develop what we consider a true product management position, how to bring new offerings, new capabilities to market and do it well, do it as well as any company. And of course, being part and parcel of that with Ingram Micro was really beneficial. It was almost priceless to see, the strategic side of it and then the technical side of it and see the iteration of it coming to market. Secondly, and this isn't something I anticipated, but as part of the TrustX Advisory Council, in one of the meetings, Jennifer Anaya, she's the CMO at Ingram Micro, she mentioned how Xvantage and then later Expand were part of the initiative to build a digital twin for the business. And in that conversation, it dawned on me that we had most of the piece parts in Success to build a digital twin, not just for Success, but if you would, a generic MSP. We could digitize every aspect of our operation. We've been doing that ever since. And I think once we're complete, that's going to give us an advantage for us going to market, just like I think advantage gives Ingram Micro when they go to market. So I thought that experience was phenomenal. It not only, we again see how good platforms and capabilities come to market, that so we can try to replicate that, but then see how to digitize a business and make it allow us to do things with less friction, if you will, to get to market faster, do the things we want to do faster. So it was priceless. It was so worth the effort that we put into it. And again, we were honored to be part of that beta program.
Now, Bruce, if it wouldn't be 2024 if I didn't ask you about AI. So I know we can make a bit of a link there between Xvantage and AI. How has Xvantage directly helped you with your AI business goals?
So, AI is, first of all, we don't know exactly what AI is going to do for us, but certainly in Xvantage and the looking at our technical stack and how we apply that to our clients and making the right recommendations. So just something as simple as to have a recommendation engine. We think we can dot every I and cross every T and get the right card and the right RAM and all this, but to have that AI capability in front of Xvantage allows us to do things faster, higher quality, less errors, less rework, better experience for us, better experience for our clients, bring things to market faster. That's one of the true use cases right now for AI, is to take out some of that workload that could take days, literally, to configure the right solutions and have a better relationship with the whole channel, bring the right things to market at the right time for the right reasons.
Excellent. So let's talk a little bit about Ingram Micro events. I know the big Ingram Micro 1 is coming up in November, I believe, in suburban Washington, D.C. I'm curious how 1 and some of the other Ingram events have helped with building your business community.
So, Craig, when we go to an event, Ingram Micro, any other event, but especially Ingram Micro, we go with a purpose. We literally target some question or some initiative that we want more insight in, and we'll bring a good representation across our business to that event. It won't just be technologists, it won't just be salespeople, it'll be literally across the full spectrum of our business. And we'll immerse ourselves in the topic of the day, if you will. And I think in terms of technology waves, it wasn't that long ago the big talk was around private cloud and the push to build out your own cloud. And then it wasn't long before we were talking security, and now it's AI. And we use those events like Ingram Micro 1 to get immersed. So you get the keynotes, you get the breakouts, you get the vendors, you just literally have access to the best and the brightest and the current thinking. And what we'll do is we'll go with a purpose out into those events, and we'll gather data, we'll meet the right people, we'll get the insights we think we need, and at lunch and at dinner, we'll reconvene and we will dump our data. We'll share across those functional areas of the business, knowing what's left to be covered and what's left available to us at the event. We go forth again, and we just iterate that throughout the event until by the end of the event, we can come back with an informed thesis, if you will, on what we believe we can do with whether it's AI, it was private cloud or security at the time. So we use these events to formulate our tactical and strategic directions, and then engage and meet the people we need in the channel to help us achieve those tactical and strategic initiatives.
Been to some of those events myself. They're really good ones that Ingram Micro puts on. Bruce, thanks for your time today on Channel Futures TV. Great catching up, learning a little more about Ingram Micro, your relationship with them, and particularly your own business, the aptly named Success. Appreciate your time.
Greg, appreciate the opportunity.